All right, language learners, I think we need to talk. I think we all have a problem, a big one. I think we're all addicted to snake oils. Hello, it's me again, your favorite YouTuber. And today I want to rant a little bit. You see, yesterday I was on my meditative, spiritual journey in my toilet, taking a dump and doom scrolling. And I came across the usual blessings from the algorithm showing me all these ads for language learning apps and this and that. And I was surprised. I was taken aback by how many of them are out there. And then all of them just claim some ridiculous shit like, oh, you can be fluent in 14 weeks, you can be fluent in 2 days, maybe not 2 days, but you get what I mean. And that really, really upsets me because my conclusion is that if there are so many of these snake oil salesmen just trying to push these products that are really not doing what they promise you to do, I feel like the reason most likely is because there are people paying the money. There are supplies because there are demands. And I know it's sad to say, but if you are paying money for language resources, language apps, language service, and all these things, you most likely are a language learner, or someone passionate about language, or someone who just want to learn a language. So I'll group all of you into one category. Let's call all of you and me, all of us, language learner. And that really upsets me because I want to believe that language learners are intelligent. I want to believe that. And the reason is quite simple. Again, I'm giving a bit of a blanket statement. But out of all the hobbies and activities that are available, instead of choosing to dance in front of a smartphone camera, not that there's anything wrong with that, please, if you enjoy it, do so. Instead of that, you choose to do one of the most intensive brain activities, which is language learning. I want to believe that you are, at a certain level of intelligence and you are a certain level of intellect. And seeing a lot of us just wasting a lot of money and buy into these snake oils just really, really pains me. So that's why I want to talk mainly on 3 different things here, right? The first is on the idea that what I call the tutorial hell. We have this term called tutorial hell, especially for students or for people that study programming or coding, where you are perpetually stuck in the state of finding things to learn and learning how to do things without actually doing things. And I noticed, and I'm quite guilty of this myself sometimes, we language learners spend most of our time finding ways to optimize our language learning rather than actually learning the language. I know some people spend hours and hours of making tables, drawing plans, and all these things, and once they're done, they just get burned out and they just quit. And yeah, and this is something that shouldn't happen. When you learn a language, you should be learning, you should be making progress, and of course, it's a long and tedious journey. I said this over and over again, but that doesn't mean that you have to perpetually be perpetually be looking for the best way to learn, because there is no such thing as the best way to learn languages. Some people will find certain things easier to do than other people. Some methods might resonate better than others to some people. But overall, if we just keep chasing the dragon, finding the perfect way, the best way, you will not find it. And if you want to know whether you're in tutorial hell or not, ask yourself, like, how much progress have you made now comparing yourself to you 3 months ago? And be honest with yourself. And if the progress is good, justifiable, then I guess you're not in tutorial hell. I guess. But sometimes you will feel like, you've been using an app, you've been studying something for months, and then you really can't use any language. Well, you can't really use the language any better than how much you could use previously. Then something is wrong. So now to the second point, right? I've heard this statement a lot and I don't really like it. I know this might sound a bit like an elitist, but when someone say, oh, it doesn't work for me, or when someone say, oh, but this works for me, and if you're one of those people that trying some very novel cutting edge system of learning language and you feel like, oh, this works for me, then ask yourself, does it really work for you? Does it really work for you? Are you really making progress, or are you being tricked by this whatever system to think that it works for you because you are feeling very comfortable with it, and the system is there to just stroke your ego and make you think that you are actually progressing? You see, I am in my 30s, I'm old, and time is very important to me. I don't like to waste my time, and when I see a lot of people that are learning languages, I don't want their time wasted too. I want everyone to achieve their goal, especially those who put effort into achieving the goals. If you're putting effort, I wish you the best of luck and I hope you achieve that goal. But sometimes, we're just putting efforts in the wrong place. And learning language or learning anything shouldn't be comfortable. I'm not going to go deep into science, but learning things literally stimulate the pain part of your brain. So if you're feeling very comfortable, everything is way too nice, everything is too beautiful, you might want to re-evaluate your situation. Of course, at the end of the day, again, I have high expectation for us language learners. I have high hope for us, and I want to believe that we are smarter and more intelligent, and we are capable of critical thinking and self-assessment. So, which lead me to the third thing, right? This obsession of how to learn a language. I'm not saying that you should not be finding ways to optimize your learning. You absolutely should be, but that shouldn't be the priority. Recently, I've been hearing, recent as in like a year or two, it's been a year or two, but I've been hearing a lot of shit being thrown at Duolingo. And in many aspects, rightfully so. But I'm going to give a very controversial statement here, which it shouldn't be, but I think it will be. So, I would say Duolingo is the best language, hands down, to start learning a language. It's not a good or a great app to go anywhere with. You're not going to be fluent in a language, by doing Duolingo. In fact, you might not even be learning much. However, it is the best place to start learning language. 1, it's free, easy to use. 2, it has a lot of languages. And 3, it gives you everything you need to know about a language before you fully commit to a language. You can do 1 week worth of Duolingo and you will gain the understanding of things like how your target language, what kind of pronunciations your target language use, what kind of rough grammatical structure do they use, and just overall basic informations that will be more than enough to get you to start a language. But you're not going to be going anywhere further than that with Duolingo. And this is one thing. And also, I also hear a lot, especially in the language community, online language community, people tend to shit a lot on the traditional method. And you know what? Traditional method is, to be fair, the most tried and tested method. It's not the most optimal, it's not the best, but compared to a lot of the other things, it works. Which lead me to the point of understanding what your method or your system is doing to you. A lot of time when you go to online advertisement or just scrolling through your social media, you will come across these ads that tell you, oh, learn language this way, learn language that way. And the thing is that a lot of time there's this very high level of intellectual dishonesty where these service provider, they like to blur this line and try to purposely make you misunderstand between learning a language and supplementing learning a language. For example, the studying with Netflix, I think a lot of people have been doing that. It might be a good way to supplement your language study, but in no way it's a feasible way, in my opinion, to actually learn a language, for the simple fact that you don't know what's going on. And that's, there is a reason why flashcard is very effective. Flashcard is extremely effective because it uses one of the most fundamental aspect of a traditional learning, which is memorization. They make you memorize a lot. However, if you do nothing but flashcard, you will not be learning the language. You will just be remembering things. And a lot of time, when you see these ads and stuff, they purposely blur this line and make you feel like, oh, this is a good way to learn a language. It's not. And this is something that I want, all the language learners to look and consider before you pay this money to this new next best thing that you see on the internet. So yeah, overall, that's my message for you, because I think there are too many of these ridiculous stuff going on, and I'm not even talking about the language gurus part yet. that is like a whole new can of worm, and I will open it at one point soon, but not today. So in the end, if you know, I know I've been talking for 12 minutes, but if you don't get anything from this video, at the very least, I want you to get the message that make sure you are focusing on learning part rather than focusing on finding how to learn. And yeah, and also please be critical about everything. Just, you know, don't just throw money at anything that comes to your way that sounds remotely good. So yeah, well, I think I've been ranting a lot, and thank you for listening to me rant while driving. I'll see you again tomorrow. So go away, bye.